Hello and good morning, authors. Today is exciting because the Amazon Advantage program is open for applications again. This is a big deal. If you haven't heard of Amazon Advantage, it is a really good program for authors to consider to be able to sell their books and increase profitability. So if this is something that sounds good to you, keep watching because we are going to cover all of these FAQs and I'm going to include additional information about why you might want to consider this program or let you know if this program maybe isn't for you. The first thing I want to mention is this program has not been open in a very long time. It was a very exclusive program that had shut down right when I entered my authorship career around 2018, and it has been having this style of very exclusive application periods. We are in one right now. If you want to take advantage of this, there is not time to wait because I don't know how long this will be open for sellers again. So if this again is something that interests you, I highly recommend after this video, you go ahead and make the plunge and apply to it. But let's talk about who this is for because this isn't for everyone and this may not be for you. And that's okay because there's no wrong way to be an author. And I say that all the time. You will hear people say, you have to do it this way or this way is the best. And I'm telling you, that is simply not true. All of our lives are incredibly different. What we want out of our careers is incredibly different. So please take this into consideration with you and your career and what will suit you best for your authorship journey. So let's just start off talking about these bullet points, breaking them down, and understanding what Advantage is. So this is explaining what the Advantage program is and why should you join. We are going to focus on the author and publisher aspect of this. So it allows you to reach customers through Amazon, and it is a really great way to have a direct relationship with Amazon instead of selling through Amazon. So we're going to talk a little bit more about that soon. If you apply for the Advantage program, you get access to lightning deals and advertising and A+ content for your pages. I am just going to say that you do have access to A+ content as well if you are selling through other versions on KDP or other platforms. This was not, A+ was a big deal for Advantage in the beginning because A+ was only available to those people on Advantage, so they always had better book looking pages than people on KDP. But now we have access to A+ content and you are able to create that. So pre-orders, you have access to release it for a pre-order, which you can also do depending on the style of book you're releasing. So that's a caveat. Amazon Prime is available for your books. And then there's trusted offers. So this is going to say that it ships from Amazon.com and sold by Amazon.com instead of saying shipped by Bethany Stahl, sold by Bethany Stahl. Some people might be like, ooh, can I trust Bethany Stahl? And they might have more confidence in buying something that says ships from Amazon.com more so than my name, or even if they don't know who I am in terms of, oh, yes, I'm buying a book written by Bethany Stahl, but there is this company it's selling it called Happy Little Herbs. I don't know what that company is. Maybe they're sketchy, even though that's a company I own. So that's something that it will increase your conversions is if you have this little Amazon.com. And if you're selling through KDP, you do already have that. And then customer support. So the difference between Advantage and the Amazon Seller Program. Now, this is not talking about KDP. There is actually another program you can enter that's called the Amazon Seller Program. What this is if you are selling your books, you have physical copies, and you want to sell them on Amazon. When Advantage is closed, Amazon Seller is your only option. Now, Amazon Seller can either maintain their own inventory or ship products directly to their customers. So this is something to where you are the one responsible for packaging, shipping, you are doing returns, and that is something on you in the Amazon seller program. With Amazon Advantage, you are shipping your products to the fulfillment centers. So you're actually going to receive purchase orders or POs that are for your books, and you'll get a sheet that maybe says we want 20 books in this warehouse in California, and we want 15 down in Tampa, Florida, and we want 30 in Massachusetts. So you're going to get this sheet that tells you we want all these books in different places, and you have the ability to say if they only want one book in Louisiana, you can say, oh, I know you only want one book and you want it in Louisiana, but I don't want to send a book to Louisiana. So you can decline that purchase order as well. So that is something to where you are in this in-between between KDP, where they handle everything for you, and the Amazon seller program, where you are really running your own warehouse, shipping, and fulfillment center out of your house or your business, depending on what you're working out of. So that is a huge difference between Advantage and the seller program. Of course, they do both have the benefit of saying that they ship from Amazon.com and then sold by Amazon.com for Advantage. The sold by seller name is available to Amazon seller. So again, this is, I think it's a perk and a withdrawal, because you get to get your business name out there if it's something different than your personal name. But again, sold by Amazon.com does give that confidence to people, just like how we will rather order through Amazon.com than go to a business's direct website, or a lot of people prefer ordering, from Etsy instead of going to somebody's personal website, even though I'll let you know a secret, you can probably get better prices on their website, so always double check. But there's that safety feeling, and that's what they're really selling to you here. So this is the important part that you all want to pay attention to. You are an author. You want to sell your books. You want to get your books in the reader's hands. Which are your best options? So these are the 3 programs we're going to be talking about. Of course, this is not your only option. That we are only talking about Amazon right now. There are endless options out there, but we are only going to be talking about you want your books available through Amazon, which is a great thing to do because they have a audience reach that is just ridiculous, and it is a great way to get your books in front of readers. So Advantage, we've been talking about that. That is what this application is open for. So this is for authors who have books that they want to ship. And I'm talking about you have your physical inventory. A lot of these people, you're not ordering author copies from a print on demand. That is not what you want to do this for, because that is just not profitable for a business plan like this. This is going to be for the business owners who are bulk buying their books, whether you're working with a local printer, or more often than not, what these authors are doing is they have partnered with overseas printers. They are ordering their books by the thousands. They are having their books shipped from overseas to here, and then they are getting pallets of books delivered to their business, their house, and then they are going to be sending those out. There are massive perks with doing that. Namely, you can get a higher profit margin on your book. So that means what you spend versus what you put in your pocket is going to be much more significant. The drawback with this, and we've talked about this before, is that you have to be responsible for finding a reputable printer. You have to be responsible for getting all those proofs. You have to have a big enough space to store your books, or be willing to pay for a climate-controlled storage space where you can go put your books somewhat near your residence. And that is something to where you are fulfilling purchase orders when Amazon says, hey, we want this many in this warehouse. That is on you. That also means that you also need to be very confident in your book that you're not going to change anything. You have no typos. You've proofed it 100 times. You've had proofreaders, everybody look at it and approve it, because once you have those 1,000 copies, there is no going back and quickly changing a small detail. You'll have to wait till that batch is through. So Again, if that's something you want to do, if you want to print your books, you want to have a little warehouse in your garage. I know people who rent storage facilities for this. If that's something you want to do, Advantage might be the program for you. This is allowing pre-orders and promotional features. And the perk to the Advantage program here is if you have those 1,000 books and you are sending them to Amazon warehouses and you run out of those 1,000 books and you contact your supplier and they say, hey, the ship is not able to go out for 3 more weeks. You are not going to have these books when you expected. Then it's not like you can't still make money. As an Advantage member, you see this? You can also apply for a Kindle Enterprise Publishing print-on-demand account. Now, this is a little bit different than KDP, but you can apply for that, and that is an in-stock protection and inventory-free services. So what this is Amazon will temporarily fulfill any customer demand for your out-of-stock titles by printing them on demand. So this is that little fail-safe that if you can't get your bulk books in time for a very short temporary time, Amazon will go ahead and print those titles on demand for you and push them out to your customers. Now, this is something to consider. And next, we're going to talk about KDP. This is what I focus my channel on mainly. This is what I highly recommend to new authors who are just getting started because this is a very safe program and I absolutely love it. Even being a seasoned author, this is what I've been doing full time for years now. I really enjoy KDP. So this is somebody who sells books, either ebooks or printed books, but you don't want to hold and ship your inventory. So that is somebody like me. I don't have space to put as many books and as many titles as I have. One of the strategies of my business plan is I love publishing books. I publish a large quantity of books. I hold several titles of my books, and there is no way I have space to hold even 1,000 of each of my 15 titles, because now we're talking about 15,000 books. I am not interested in that. I also have a chronic illness that prevents me from being mobile a lot of the time. So me having to ship and me having to provide all of these additional movements in my personal life is something that I am not interested in. KDP, if you are like that, is going to be great for you. This is also great for those of you who are doing this as a side hustle because they are taking care of the printing for you. They are taking care of the shipping for you. You'll never know about returns because they take care of those for you as well. And they're the customer service. No one who has bought on Amazon is reaching out to me with problems. They're reaching out to Amazon and Amazon's fixing that. So all I do is I publish my book, I advertise my book, and then I get royalties. This is a very low effort, and I say that with a huge asterisk because nothing in publishing is low effort, but this is low effort compared to the other two options because you have Amazon as a partner. The drawback to KDP is what you get paid. So I tell people, yes, you make less, but I always look at that as I'm paying Amazon to do my customer service. I'm paying them to do my shipping, and I'm paying them for all these other things because my books are selling hundreds and hundreds of titles a day. There's no way I could keep up with that as a single person. I'd have to hire employees if I stocked my titles. So that is something to where you are having this balancing act. So that's something I want you all to consider. Is who are you as an author? What do you want? Is building an empire with employees, with a distribution center that you are shipping out to all these places? Is that something you want to do? Do you want to work with sellers overseas? Do you want to work with local printers and negotiate your best price? Do you want to not have any of that? So it is something that is purely up to you. There is not a better option here. So then you have the seller program. This is what was available and what will be available if Advantage applications close or when they close again. A seller program is available to authors, but mainly when we see products on Amazon. This is what people are doing. So businesses like clothing retailers or people selling shoes or pots and pans, basically all the things you see on Amazon, they have a seller program account. So this is for wholesalers, resellers, new or used books. This seller program is something you can apply to and be a part of. Now, there are fees associated with all of this. Besides KDP does not have an initial application fee. It's totally free to sign up. The seller program does have a fee, as does Advantage. So these are the requirements for the Advantage program. I'm going to skip over that because this is something that you guys need to just verify with yourself and your business. Once you know what you want to do, you are welcome to apply to Advantage. If that sounds something that's appealing to you, you'll know if your application's approved if they reply to you in 2 weeks after reading this Q&A. It looks like they're not going to tell you if you're not approved. So just be aware that if they don't message you within 2 weeks, you're probably not approved. Amazon Advantage is a $99 fee to join the program. And then when you're selling your books, you do have to offer them at a standard discount that they recommend at 55%, and then you keep 45% of the list price. This is where the Advantage program is the most profitable of these three options because you are getting so much more of your book price than you would be on KDP or even Amazon seller. So this is really something to consider when you're looking at your business plan, your profitability, what you want your ROIs to be, and what you are hoping for as you progress with your career as an author. Now, this is something too to where you can change your mind and join these programs later. You can switch from one to the other. But what I'm telling you is like Advantage, this is a lucrative program that like has not been available for a while, and I'm sure others in the author community are freaking out when they seen that it was open again. So I'm telling you, if this is interesting to you, if you think you want to do this, I would act fast. So this talks about what types of products are accepted. We're only going to be focusing on books. There's a few other items that they allow, but mainly this is going to be for authors writing books. And I'm not talking about the low content stuff. We're talking about physical books that you can read. So when do you place orders for my products and how does the shipping work? So orders are being automatically placed, and if they need you to replenish inventory of your title, they'll let you know via email that there's an Amazon purchase order waiting for you. This is what we were talking about earlier. They're going to send you all of these purchase orders, and then you are able to confirm the order and ship the requested inventory to their fulfillment centers. Now, what's important here and what has gotten authors frustrated in the past, because I have a bunch of friends who do use this method, is that when you do your purchase orders, you're paying for shipping, and shipping costs can add up. So I had a friend who was getting purchase orders, and she'd get low purchase orders. Like, we want to individually send 50 books to 50 different warehouses, and we only want 1 copy of each, 1 to like 5 copies. And it's frustrating because at first she was sending every single one of those books out to all these different warehouses, and her cost in shipping was negating any advantage of Amazon Advantage. So her profit margin was decreasing and decreasing because she was sending so many individual books out in the mail, and it was becoming overwhelming for them. So the important thing is that you do not have to fulfill every purchase order. And this is something to where I do recommend you find an author who is using Amazon Advantage and hooking up with them as a mentor to navigate this program. So I fully am admitting that I am not the guru of Amazon Advantage. I do know a fair bit, but it's not something I personally use, and it's not something I'm interested in using, but it is a great program, and I do want to bring awareness to it because I know some of you will really love this option. So can you enroll your title if it hasn't been released yet? Yes, they do allow pre-orders, and you can add that into your account. So that is really exciting. And then, of course, you can still change your title's detail page, and there are no account managers. So that means there is no one individually assigned for you, but of course you do have the ability to use the website, navigate it by yourself, and there's customer service and support teams as well. So just similar to KDP, where there's nobody really there with you holding your hand or really advocating with you, but there is the support option, which sometimes a lot of us have great results with and sometimes of us don't. But I hope this is useful for understanding what this program is. If you hear people talking about it, it is very, very fun to consider, and I highly recommend all of you look into the pricing of printing your books. Maybe some of you have great local printers to work with. Maybe some of you don't want to work with anybody overseas. There's also other programs that you can join that make the process a little bit easier for bulk printing. There are endless options out there, and ultimately it falls upon you to think about what you might want and your research into all these programs. Ultimately, if you are somebody who only wants to publish one title every few years, this might really be something to consider, because if you focus on one book at a time and you take slower steps than someone who is publishing frequently multiple times a year, there's definitely going to be a different strategy for each of those authors. One of those authors, you might ride that high of that book for a really long time, focus on one book, and don't move on quickly. This is going to be more for people who aren't having series. And I'm not saying that if you have a series you can't do Amazon Advantage, you absolutely can, but maybe it is a stock issue. But if you have a huge basement in your house and there's nothing in it and you're like, whoa, I can easily fit 30,000 books down there, maybe this is for you. And even if you have a large amount of titles, that's something that will work. But if you don't have the space, you don't want to deal with shipping, you just want to publish and get the royalties and keep moving on, that's also something to consider. So please don't be pressured anyway. It's so individual, and I wish you all the best of luck. If you have questions, feel free to reach out over on Patreon. You are able to message me privately and I can work with you one-on-one. So that's patreon.com/Bethany Stahl. And I love working with all of you over there as well. So let me know if you have any questions, or if you have any questions about KDP, which is my area of expertise. And I am so excited for you being on this author journey. I hope this wasn't overwhelming. I hope this helped explain a little bit more than their Q&A and broke it down into a little bit of better terms. And I will see you all in the next video. Happy publishing.